Absolute Supercars, or Supercars Challenge in Europe, is a full-on racing simulator that is not only fun and challenging, but packed with a surprisingly good amount of content. Chances are, if you like racing simulators and own a PS3, you've probably played the definitive racing simulator, Gran Turismo 5. If you're expecting something to challenge that, you're definitely not going to find that here. I don't make this comparison as a way to knock Absolute Supercars, but more so to put into perspective the idea of it. At only $9.99 on PSN, you're getting a great racing simulator. But what makes it so great? General play and driving feels good, and there's nothing out of the ordinary in terms of handling. This feels like a racing simulator, and it plays like one. Quite possibly the most important detail needed for such a genre. A great appeal to racing simulators comes the challenge, and Absolute Supercars is no exception. There's 3 different modes you can set for your preferred play, one for novices, intermediate players, and experienced ones. Experienced players will find a great challenge here, and novice players trying to get into racing simulators will enjoy the assisted help. Within each selected race is 4 different difficulties that gives players high rewards depending on what is set. The currency you receive is race points, and you can use these to unlock more cars, tracks, and more. There's 5 different stages in the main career path with varying countries and tracks. For experienced players, this probably won't take you long to get through, but for more novice players, it may take you twice as long to get there. There's over 20 tracks and over 40 cars to choose from, a very solid and welcomed amount. Cars can have customized liveries, though don't expect anything too in-depth. What I like the most is the different modes and options for what you can play. There's a main campaign, an arcade mode, tournament mode, and time trial. You can also choose a quick race option to stay away from any goals or preset options that the other modes do have. For crazy perfectionists, you'll easily be spending over 20 hours on this game trying to beat every tournament and arcade challenge. For people who need to tweak the game to fit their needs, there's varying options for you to do so, like setting your transmission to manual, or racing wheel settings are also there to change your sensitivity, pedal, and force feedback. The online, however, is pretty lacking. There's little to nothing exciting about it, and it's based on player-created servers only. There's no one playing this game online. The only people you'll be playing with online is your friends when you plan to do so, and if you can't get loads of people playing with you, it'll be a pretty boring race. There's no upgrades or unlocks to speak of, and your stats only show your wins and a very vague skill rating. Basically, online isn't going to be a selling point here. In terms of visuals, they're good. I can't say that I'm impressed, however. In racing simulators, attention to detail really does need to stand out. It's arguably an important aspect that graphics aid in better gameplay for a game that is meant to simulate a real-life action. As a PSN game, it's certainly above average, but as a racing simulator, it's a little below average. One aspect of Absolute Supercars that really bugged me was the loading times. Something as simple as changing your livery took between 3 to 5 seconds just to see the car change colors. Editing the liveries was a pain when rotating, resizing, and finalizing the choices, and navigating all the menus of the game always prompted another loading screen. Loading races got really long too. It all became very cumbersome as I continued to play, and it may annoy you in the long run. I really want to stress the value of the game. For $9.99 you're getting a lot. Compared to other PSN games at the same price, there's no complaining here. Absolute Supercars is a racing simulator with very little compromises. While the online is non-existent and loading times are an annoyance, you won't be disappointed with the tracks, cars, and challenges that come with this racing simulator, putting Absolute Supercars in an affordably fun class of its own.